You bought a sleeping bag rated for 0 degrees, you see that number stamped on the nylon, and you think you are safe. You think you have purchased survival. But in a real crisis, that rating is a lie. A sleeping bag does not create heat, it only traps it. And the moment that system is compromised by moisture, compression, or wind, the rating becomes irrelevant, and you freeze. When people imagine surviving the cold, they picture high-tech gear, puffy down feathers, and expensive labels. But during World War II, soldiers in frozen forests and muddy trenches learned a brutal lesson. Comfort is not the same thing as survival. They couldn't rely on delicate zippers or fragile loft. They relied on a method so simple and counterintuitive that it still outperforms most modern gear today. We need to stop buying products and start building systems. Today, we are ditching the marketing myths and relearning the soldier's method of microclimates. Here is the uncomfortable physics that outdoor stores won't tell you. A sleeping bag is just a thermos. If you put a block of ice inside a 0-degree thermos, it stays ice. If you put a cold, starving human body inside a 0-degree bag, they stay cold. You are the heater. The bag is just the wall. Modern bags rely on loft, those fluffy air pockets that trap heat. But loft is fragile. If you roll onto your side, your body weight crushes the insulation flat. If you sweat, the moisture collapses the fibers. Once that loft is gone, the cold walks right in. World War II soldiers didn't have the luxury of high-tech loft. They didn't have waterproof zippers. They slept wet, exhausted, and often without tents. They survived because they understood that trusting a single piece of gear was a gamble they couldn't afford to lose. Instead of one thick layer, they built modular systems designed to manage heat, not just trap it. The first rule they followed is one that most modern campers ignore until it kills them. The ground is a vampire. It has almost infinite thermal capacity. It behaves like a cold ocean. It does not matter if your bag is rated for 50 below zero. If you lie directly on the frozen earth, conduction will drain the life out of you in hours. You cannot warm the ground. You can only feed it your energy until you collapse. Soldiers on the Eastern Front didn't just lie down, they built platforms. They used pine boughs, straw, ammunition crates, or even layers of spare clothing to create separation. They understood that 4 inches of debris beneath you is worth more than 4 inches of down feathers on top of you. You have to break the thermal bridge. If you touch the earth wins. Once they were off the ground, they didn't zip themselves into a plastic coffin. They used wool. Today, we are obsessed with synthetic fabrics, but synthetics have a fatal flaw. They fail when wet. Wool is different. It is survival engineering perfected by nature. Wool fibers are coated in lanolin, a natural wax that repels water. But more importantly, wool is exothermic. When it absorbs moisture, it actually generates a small amount of heat as the fibers swell. It can absorb up to 30% of its weight in water and still trap warm air. Soldiers wore wool against their skin and slept in heavy wool greatcoats. This wasn't just clothing, it was a wearable shelter. When they curled up to sleep, they pulled their knees to their chest, wrapping the heavy fabric tight around them. This is the concept of the microclimate. A modern mummy bag leaves too much dead air space around your legs and shoulders that your body has to waste energy heating up. By shrinking your surface area and wrapping the insulation directly against the body, the soldiers reduced the volume of air they needed to heat. They didn't try to heat the foxhole, they heated the 2 inches of air next to their skin. But a system is useless without fuel. This is the biological hack that most people forget. You cannot trap heat if you aren't making heat. If you go to sleep on an empty stomach, your internal fire dies down around 3 o'clock a.m. That is the coldest hour. That is when people die. The soldiers treated rest like a tactical operation. They ate before sleeping, but they didn't eat sugar. They ate fat and protein. Digestion creates thermogenesis. It turns your stomach into a radiator. Eating a ration of hard cheese, sausage, or fat right before closing your eyes ensures that your metabolism keeps burning hot while you are unconscious. You don't hoard food for the morning if you might not wake up. You eat to sleep. Finally, there is the issue of moisture management. Modern tents and bags are often made of nylon or polyester. They are essentially plastic bags. When you sleep, you exhale moisture. In a synthetic bag, that moisture hits the cold outer wall, condenses, and freezes. You wake up covered in ice inside your own gear. The WWII system used canvas and wool because they breathe. A heavy canvas shelter, half or poncho, stopped the wind convection from stealing heat, but it allowed moisture to escape. It is a balance. You must block the wind, but you must let the system breathe. If you seal the moisture in, you are sleeping in a cold compress. The soldiers of 1944 didn't survive the winter because they had better technology. They survived because they understood the process. Ground insulation to stop conduction, wool to manage moisture and generate heat even when wet, calories to fuel the internal furnace, and a windproof shell to stop convection. A sleeping bag is a product, a sleep system is a skill. The world sells us comfort, promising that if we just buy the right item, we will be safe. But history teaches endurance. History teaches that gear breaks, zippers jam, and down feathers get wet. The only thing that lasts is your understanding of the physics. So, the next time you look at a sleeping bag rating, remember that it is just a number printed in a factory. It doesn't know about the frozen ground. It doesn't know about the wind. It doesn't know if you are wet or hungry. Don't trust the rating. Trust the system. Build your microclimate. Insulate from the ground. Prioritize wool. And never, ever sleep cold when you can eat to stay warm. The soldiers who figured this out came home. The ones who trusted the wrong gear became part of the history books. Survival isn't about fighting the cold. It's about protecting the heat you already have.